Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Lepherdcast. This is episode 2.
A bit quieter. Sorry, we're in a library.
This is episode 2 of the Lepherdcast, featuring me, Michael Shepard, and
Me, Randy Lee.
yes, good job. I'm proud of you. Today we are going to be discussing more topics. Mainly mine were conspiracy theories, because I found that was interesting the most. Even though we could talk about this. We also have our Burger King crowns with us because it's part of our uniform.
In homage.
Yeah, and we're gonna do our 5 minutes on every single topic like usual. That's the main gimmick of our show and whatnot.
So we changed it up.
Yeah, we changed it up today. The topics are gonna be in a hat. This is my Santa Cruz hat. I love it. You wanna go ahead and start us off?
Yep.
Mr. Lee.
So what we do is we roll this. You know the topics where every 5 minutes we do one topic. However, you get to pick any one of these. Instead of it being like our choice, it's randomized.
Yeah.
This one.
All right. What is that?
First topic, I believe this is yours.
What?
A garden. Matrix simulation.
All right.
Okay.
Matrix simulation is obviously a big conspiracy theory that life is a simulation. And there have been videos of quote-unquote glitches, well, I like to call them, very good editing skills. However, that does bring the question, though. Do you think we live in a matrix? Virtual reality? Do you believe it's all fake?
There's a lot of that in my philosophy class where we're learning about Rene Descartes and stuff like that, where it's like, how do you not know that everyone else outside of you is a robot, or everyone else outside of you isn't real? Because you know that you're thinking, you know you can feel yourself, you know you could feel everything, but you shouldn't trust your senses.
That's true.
The main thing is, all you know is that you know you can think, and you can't trust your senses. If those two things are true, that you can't trust your senses and you know that you think, then you are the only real thing. And I mean, I guess I haven't really made it far enough into the meditations and stuff, but all I know is that there's a modest chance that we could be in a simulation.
That's true.
We could be in a callback of someone's death, when you're dying and you remember the entirety of your life in the 10-minute span.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy. There's still activity 10 minutes after the fact where you're remembering stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different theories about us not being where we are right now. We could all be in a simulation after the 2012 thing, that
yeah.
Theory. There's a ton of stuff about that, and it's really difficult to tell or to say benefactor that we don't know, that we know we're in a simulation or not. This is primarily due to the fact that, it's not like we could leave the simulation in time.
Yeah, because, in 2012, people said it's going to mark the end of the world because of some calendar ending. Mayan, yeah. And people were talking about, you know what's funny? Ever since 2012, and it was on Instagram, so I hardly believe this is true. Ever notice how, people have been experiencing deja vu way more? Economy collapsing, pretty much, because the financial crisis 2008, 2009. COVID happened, marking wipe and deaths, And that begs the question, though. People don't really realize things until it's brought up to them. Remember how we were talking about, what's funny, ever since the government shut down, we haven't seen any pigeons lately. We realized that. And once people make you realize an obscure fact about a relevant topic, then that leads to beliefs like this, Because, what is it? Even if we are living in a simulation, what is it? Like you said, we will never truly know. And people don't think about that stuff until you mainly brought it up to them, because no one really brought up the word Matrix alive ever since the movie The Matrix. Yeah. If we really think about it, and even if we were crafted in a digital world, truly, the coders must be really fluent in C++, because there's just no way they could manipulate real feelings like this wall. There's no way. How could you manipulate that? And if it was true. If it was a simulation, then they would obviously bring back important people from the dead. But there's the thing, though, since it's a simulation, no one is important. Ever thought about that?
You also got to realize the fact that we could say that they can't manipulate this, or they can't manipulate our feelings because we've been told we can't.
Oh.
If they simulated something and they blocked us from doing that, or they blocked us from having the knowledge of being able to, do the programming, like you said, or do another form of programming, it would make a whole lot more sense. Teleportation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
For us, it seems impossible for our, the laws of thermodynamics, the laws of equivalent exchange, stuff like that. all those theories and all those laws are benefacto rules of the universe that cannot be changed, like the laws of physics on Earth, I believe. Yeah, just on Earth. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how much like a correlation to this and I guess laws of the universe kind of go in hand. Because it's weird that the universe can have a set of laws and we can figure them out.
That's true.
It's pretty crazy.
Because you'd think if it truly was the Matrix, they would program our brain to make us not even think of that idea, if we really think about it.
Yeah. But that's also another type of mind game used. So because we have the possibility to think about it, then we, are allowed to not believe in it or believe in it in the first place. Mm-hmm. So I can see the clock.
Yeah, I'll make this one quick. If you recall a video, I think 2022, it was this lady on the airplane saying, that mother effer over there ain't real. Remember that?
Yeah.
Could you think, what do you think about that video? Do you think it was someone, like, really in the Matrix? Like, someone from the Matrix controlling it? Being some robot, I don't know.
I think there's a lot of delusion on like, about people who think differently and how they might be going a little bit crazy or they might have some type of mental illness affecting their way of thinking that makes them think that other people aren't real.
Yeah. We're going to stay for like a couple of seconds. And speaking about airplane videos, there are a lot of crazy airplane videos. Like, first off, the great
There's a lot of ones, but I think we should maybe step aside. Crazy airplane videos. At least for right now.
All right. Now let's shake that head and see what we got. Want me to shake it this time?
Oh, you?
Yeah. Oh, let's see what we got here. This feels like paper. All right, let's see this. Oh, wow, another one of mine is like another conspiracy theory. And this one's actually nice. The ice wall Antarctica theory.
Okay.
The ice wall. All right.
This is all right.
There's a theory going around that Antarctica is actually a giant ice wall around the Earth. Think of it as like a ring. You got the United States, all the continents, and one center of the ring, and the ring is Antarctica, and that there's more land out there. And past those other lands is more land that are just straightly or completely like one setting. Like, I forgot what it was called, but like there's an entire area where it's just icy, entire area where it's just swampy, an entire ocean. So you get the idea, right? Like a Minecraft biome, something like that. And I honestly, what?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm just figuring out how we can stretch this for 5 minutes.
I know. 'Cause, I find it kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't truly believe it, but like it's kind of interesting the more you think about it. Because not to be a conspiracy theorist or anything, even though that's like what we've been talking about.
Yeah. The only topics.
The only topics I have, because I can't think of anything else.
Except for JoJo's. Okay.
There's this video of Mr. Beast when he went to the Antarctica. When I forgot what he did there. There's just a video of him in someone's room, and then they asked him, "Did you see the ice wall there?" And then he said something like, "I," and then stopped the rest. But honestly, I think it's two things. Number one, it's the ice wall is probably real. Or number two, he was just trolling. And honestly, the internet overall just trolls people.
Probably
so,
a lot. Yeah.
This is probably ice wall Antarctica is probably just a whole huge troll.
100%.
But if you think about it, it's kind of fascinating and interesting, and how NASA actually is hiding stuff from us. But I don't believe that NASA would hide stuff from us, right?
Yeah. I guess there's always that thought in the back of your head that whatever we don't believe in can be true.
Yeah. But overall, I think the ice wall, honestly, seeing how restricted Antarctica is, the 19-year-old who got arrested for flying to Antarctica, remember that?
No, did not.
It was a 19-year-old or some other dude, some Asian guy. But anyways, he wanted to fly to every continent or something like that. I don't exactly remember what it was. But, and then he got arrested. I think he landed in either Philippine territory of it, which I'm going to need to back up some credit. I will edit the video though to show it. And someone else said, well, they landed on our turf. And then the country said, well, he's from this. And so it's a really complicated thing. But why would Antarctica be so restricted? Ever thought about that?
Yeah, I have thought about it. And I think I know why.
Why?
Because a lot of people can die there. It gets incredibly cold there. It's like, I believe, the coldest place on Earth because it's obviously farthest from the equator. Don't know how that would mean anything, but also it's very long nights, very long days, very long nights. If he got caught there during the nighttime and he flew across it when it was that cold, his engine could have stalled because it got too cold and he could have crashed. Then he'd be in the middle of Antarctica and he'd freeze to death. Or he'd breach the ice wall and make it to Agartha.
I don't know. Agartha's not under. But anyways, but But if they would restrict because it's the coolest place on Earth, why wouldn't they restrict Death Valley if it's the hottest place on Earth?
Probably because it's connected to other places.
That's most honestly.
Also, it's not like an engine could stall out from heat.
That's true, but it could burn up.
Yeah, it could break down, but it's not like you could freeze it.
The truck I drove here, when my family we visited Death Valley, it almost like burnt out. I'm telling you, temperature was like really high. Yeah. But anyways, with the ice wall and the land beyond the ice wall or something like that. I don't exactly know what it's called. Again, this needs more credit to back this up. But if I ever become president of the United States, which maybe,
there's a possibility.
I'm telling you, my first thing I'm doing is visiting Antarctica. Okay, obviously I'm kidding. But if I ever do become president of the United States, I kind of do want to debunk some common conspiracy theories, you know? Like the ice wall.
You're going to be forced to kiss the wall. you're going to become more professional.
Yeah.
You'll become too mature to actually think about things like that.
But honestly, if I was the president, I would do that. And like obviously, it's just hard to kind of drag something out like this. Like that off the top of my head. What do you think about the ice wall? Do you think there's some credit to it or no credit at all? I mean, the only thing really have that's credit towards it is that Antarctica is really restricted. That's all we have.
It's a long shot. Like, where did they get the information from to originally propose that it's an ice wall?
Well, because conspiracy theories have like almost zero backing up, except Kanye West, saving the Matrix. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And it looks like our time is up. Thankfully, I don't want to talk about this anymore. We love coins. Alright. We'll go ahead and listen on.
Anyways.
Alright, whatever that is. Probably not mine. It's definitely mine, huh?
100% yours.
What is it?
3 back to back.
No, that one's
a scribble.
Okay, we don't talk about the scribble.
It's a backward.
I was writing something else.
Okay. Human mutations.
Okay, this one's actually kind of interesting.
Take it away from me.
So human mutations, we've seen mutations in animals because of, I think it's just like radioactive, something with radioactive...
radiation.
Radiation, yeah. Pretty much, I don't even remember the word.
Radioactive exposure.
Exposure, right.
Yeah.
And it causes these weird mutations. I can't think of any one's on the top of my head, but do you think there's a possibility that a human mutation could benefit the human body in any some way? The cells, any part of the human body to gain an advantage over other humans.
Well, in what form?
In form, let's say, I grow an extra arm or something, and I can control that.
Well, your next generation could possibly grow another arm, but it'd have to. In order for it to do that, it'd have to because I'm an ESS, so I know evolutions and stuff like that. We're learning about that. In order for you to grow another arm to use, or your predecessors to, you'd have to adapt the need for it. So if you grew an extra arm, a miniature little arm here, right, and you could close it, open it, and close it, right. Maybe the next generation could get that mutation, and if they did get that mutation, and it helped them enough for them to survive, and then they'd have kids, it might stay the same. But as long as it takes a usage, maybe picking berries or something, right? It could stay in the generation, stay in the gene pool, and if it's needed and it needs to get bigger to reach more things, it will. Eventually, there will be a mutation hundreds of generations down the line that has a bigger arm sticking out. Yeah. But to be the exact same would be essentially impossible unless we started growing one 100 generations ago that was here and here that looked like normal arms.
Right. But you've seen that one. I don't exactly remember what it was. I'm just going based off memory here. There was a video of some mutated animal or something, and I think it had
Is it the deer?
I don't know. It was something. Just go with me here. Bear with me. I'm trying to remember. I should have researched this stuff before coming off the top of my head. But do you think there's any possible way for radioactive exposure to benefit humans in some way?
No. I actually do have a subject on this, and I'm going to bring it up later. The thing about it is radioactive exposure is just gamma radiation. Gamma radiation is just straight cancer. So
Yeah.
what you're getting from it is you're just going to get onslaught by radioactive particles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what radioactive particles do? They destroy other particles. That's why people, when they get exposed to radiation, they decay. They legitimately, the skin falls off their bones. So does the proteins and fats from your body. Every bit of your meat slowly falls off your body because your molecular cells are losing their composure because they're getting ripped apart by the radioactive ions. Yeah, the particles that were inside of the cesium or uranium or whatever it is that they would use inside of reactors if one were to break out, like in Chernobyl. Mutations, I'd like to say, are if you were able to like come up with something to repel the ions of it, you were able to have kids while you were still irradiated and you didn't die, and the sperm didn't get legitimately, sterilized because it's getting neutralized. Maybe something could happen, but odds are it's just going to be a baby that like has no skin or something.
Oh, yikes.
Because it's horrifically mutated. A lot of mutations, at least from what I've seen, it's not like it's radiation that helps. Radiation is the thing that kills. But not like nuclear waste, toxic waste, stuff like that could affect them. That could affect the cells inside of an animal. So if we live next to it and like we had a kid, that kid would be like, not you, like I'm saying as humans, right? As if you had a kid with someone else, right, and that kid were born, it could have no skin. It could have. The problem is it's a mutation, which means that it had some type of birth defect, meaning it had like a second arm growing out instead of just one, like conjoined twins.
Yeah, conjoined twins.
Like conjoined twins.
It's also a pretty interesting topic for another day, conjoined twins, I think. But I don't think we could drag it out for 5 minutes.
That's best case scenario, though. Yeah. Because it's like a lot of mutations that could happen. The reason why a lot of people who are mutated like that, like with different mutations, like people who have Down syndrome, people who have autism, people with Harlequin ichthyosis, horrible disease, don't look it up, and other types of diseases like that, if they survive and they have kids, their kids carry on that gene, and if they're born with Harlequin ichthyosis, Down syndrome, autism, they spread it on because the generation or the population survived. If it's beneficial, it'll stick in the gene pool, and it'll stay like that.
That makes sense.
It's not my room to say my personal opinions on that happening, because a lot of things have been happening where it's like Japan, Poland and stuff, they're Down syndrome free and stuff. Yeah, it's time for us to stop.
I mean, it's good to keep on talking, Yeah. I'm just saying we have to end it after that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, I guess those are just your topics in there now, because we went all over mine.
Close your eyes.
Oh, right.
Pick one. Okay.
Okay. Let's see. Oh boy, this is a long one. Appliances of nuclear energy misconceptions.
Yes! And misconceptions.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like you were saying earlier, with the radiation causing mutations, do you have any misconceptions about nuclear energy that you find hard to believe?
Nuclear energy. I find it hard to believe that, that it's like the hardest thing in the world to store it, Because, like, people talk about, it's kind of hard to store, like uranium, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you sure as well don't want to touch it with your bare hands, first off. I think that's pretty obvious. Yeah. But I've always found that quite interesting. Like, now I know I'm not going to it shouldn't be stored in the gas station next to my local, Burger King, something like that. But I also am saying it doesn't have to be like in a whole other continent.
Yeah.
And if we really are worried about a nuclear energy storage, why not just put it in Antarctica?
Yeah, I mean, you could store radiation like that. That's actually a main thing in like nuclear reactors. They cool it with water, cooling with ice. It's a little bit redundant if you're doing it like if you're portably carrying like ice, because it'll just melt, right? And it's not really good at, I guess, per se, containing it, because it has to be open, like shooting out the bullets, protons. Now, the main thing I wanted to get to with this is not only how useful it is, but also its misconceptions that have been spread through the media for like dozens of years. It's insane how many years we've gone through. Like, take for example, The Simpsons. which have managed to completely destroy and defame the face of nuclear energy. Homer Simpson eating toxic waste and beginning to glow. Exactly. Mr. Burns pouring out nuclear waste into the lakes where a fish grew multiple eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a case in real life, but it wasn't a real case. It was completely photoshopped, or it was just like a genuine genetic mutation from a textile factory who poured out stuff. And the main thing about that is it really spread a horrible image of nuclear energy, which, if I'm not mistaken, it delayed the development of the technology of nuclear radiation for maybe, I believe it was like by 30 years.
Wow.
So we're 30 years behind on the innovations we would have made if they didn't spread propaganda of it being evil. And I believe there's a lot of stuff going on. And it's another theory, by the way.
Yeah.
Of the big oil industry. A lot of the oil industries like Shell, Chevron, all those other places, they spread different propaganda campaigns on how deadly nuclear energy is. And you do not know the amount of people that banked off of 3 Mile Island. What's the name of that place? You know the Japanese island with the reactor?
I don't know.
It was that one island with the reactor which broke and it almost released an insane amount of nuclear radiation into the environment. And on top of that, Chernobyl. Yeah. Chernobyl was the worst thing. Mm-hmm. It's still posing a risk to the water table of Russia. And it's a horrible thing that happened, but you got to realize the only reason why the reactor malfunctioned on each of those things was because of user difficulties. The plants themselves were flawless, or they should have been flawless if they were followed to a T, at least on Chernobyl. The problem was the USSR made budget cuts. They cut it out, and it was like NVGR, or was some type of fail-safe mechanism. Anatoly Dyatlov was the... Okay, we still have time. Yeah. Anatoly Dyatlov, he was the manager on time. He was the person that was in charge of Reactor 4. They were doing a regular test, right, where they were going to test its limits, where they'd limit its, I guess, coolant or something. And then, as it was reaching, a little bit close to, dangerous levels, where it's this is dangerous level, this is criticality. Mm-hmm. They were we're going to bring it down, we're going to give it a stress test. If it does not respond well under stress, we're going to try to see if we can't shut down the reactor, right? That's what their plan was. So they did it out, and as they were doing it, when they tried to activate the failsafe to stop the thing, to handle its stress, what ended up happening was it didn't go through. The reactor slowly heated up, produced 40 years of electricity in 1 minute, and blew up, releasing, granite? I think it was granite.
I think
the granite, it landed on the roof and outside, and the granite, which was encasing the reactor core, was so radioactive. I believe I saw this from the show too. A firefighter picked it up. Right, he picked up this weird looking rock. Mm-hmm. He touched it and he placed it down because it burnt his hand. Yeah. Right, but the stone wasn't hot. It wasn't hot. It was reduced. It was emitting so much radiation because the core emitted. The core exploded. Yeah. Right. That his hand fell off the next day.
Oh my gosh.
He was dead by tomorrow because of that problem. He was dead by the next day. He was admitted to the hospital, but he died incredibly fast. Anyone who touched the granite died. I believe originally the president of Russia at the time, or the leader of Russia at the time, he was in charge of, I guess, monitoring it. I'm going to ignore that part because I don't know anything about this, and I'm going to work off this, the thing. Okay, it's fine. Because I do have something called the callback. The main part about Chernobyl was a lot of the propaganda that was spread about it. Firstly, that the reactor core was perfectly fine, and that nothing bad was wrong with it. It was just people. It was just the reactor. The reactor itself did that because radioactivity and nuclear plants are that unstable. They spread that word so much, and everyone was so afraid that we'd have more reactors in any type of North America, Europe, Australia. Yeah. I don't know where that is. Asia. Most of those countries refused to develop nuclear reactors, or at least refused to develop numerous nuclear reactors because of that.
Wow. Honestly, that's honestly pretty interesting. And honestly, it seems plausible. Because, it also brings up the theory that, well, there was an engine that could run on water, but the oil companies wanted to kill the guy so they can make money. Or,
there's a cure for cancer, but the only reason why they don't want to reveal it is to money. But honestly, that's a really great topic. Honestly, I really enjoyed that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
My turn.
All right, let's see.
Oh no.
This one's about Rockefeller.
About what?
Rockefeller.
Okay. What is Rockefeller?
Who is Rockefeller?
Who is Rockefeller?
If I'm not mistaken, it's John D. Rockefeller. He was the richest oil magnate in the world.
Mm-hmm.
This guy came from, I guess, a semi-wealthy family, but it wasn't really his family's wealth that made him really rich in the first place. He ended up capitalizing off of oil. The first thing that he ended up fully capitalizing on, which made him incredibly rich, was kerosene. Some person created this patent for the development and creation of kerosene, which was a type of oil or a type of oil refinery that made kerosene very volatile, very explosive, and it made it very very powerful. It made it light up a lot longer and a lot faster with much more force. Now that was a beautiful thing because it was used for like lighters and not lighters but like torches, lanterns, stuff like that, right? Because it burned more powerfully, which means you could see brighter, right? And Rockefeller, what he did was he not only capitalized on that, but once kerosene started falling out of the business and he went back to oil, because oil is still incredibly useful, he ended up ended up not only taking over other businesses by completely creating a tycoon, he just stole, he made a deal with the railroads, right? With, like the railroads were a huge magnate back then.
Yeah.
Railroads, oil, steel, I believe it was cotton, robes. So it was railroads, oil, something else. I don't really have to worry about that right now. But the main thing about it was he made a deal with the railroads that he could get his oil out faster and he'd pay them more, right? So he'd pay them at a higher rate for more oil if he made a deal with them, right? And then eventually, when he got the others out of business, because he was dropping his prices so incredibly low that they couldn't keep up, he offered to buy them out. If they didn't accept it, they'd go flat broke, right? If they did accept it, they'd work with him and they'd even get a higher pay sometimes. Now, eventually, what he did was the trick to it was, after he got all the oil companies, at least in a certain area, he worked with the railroad company and he just stopped. He stopped transferring stuff and they became desperate. They were like, oh shit. Then he offered to buy them out. Then he bought the railroad, at least the railroad area of like the north or something, no, the south.
Yeah.
A decent bit of the south, which he bought and then used to bring at even lower prices. Then from there, it was just a waiting game. He brought such low oil prices, it drove everyone else out. Or, he bought them all out, which meant that he had a giant monopoly, giant tycoon on everything. The trick of it was he was able to bring his prices up so high after that he was the world's second billionaire, if I'm not mistaken. First was Carnegie, and before that it was Montemusa or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how his rise to power was so ingenious, at least.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. That's great.
You know about Rockefeller?
I honestly I didn't know much. Just I was like, what is Rockefeller?
What is a Rockefeller?
I was like,
okay.
I thought it was like some dude who some dude who died or something and had like some leading cause to the story or whatever. But honestly, I had no idea who it was.
Yeah, that guy, back in the day, he was considered cruel, but the way that he did things, he still bought their company and he still gave them a job. But the problem is a lot of people were stubborn. So they went down with their company, poor, homeless, and some of them even died, like Thomas Scott. It was a friend of Carnegie's, and Carnegie was so mad about that he decided he'd have a rivalry with Rockefeller. Eventually, they both made amends. Carnegie, he overworked his men. Well, Rockefeller just bought everyone out, made them work the same.
Yeah.
The thing is with Rockefeller, he was horrible in the first place, right? He was a very cruel, very crude businessman. Corrupt. But he knew what not corrupt. He worked for himself. But he knew what he was doing when he did it. He had all these plans in place. I don't think a single one failed. Carnegie hid while Rockefeller took the punches. No matter what happened, he always not took the blame for it, but twisted it into something that helped himself. Later on in life, he created the Rockefeller Foundation, which still to this day creates scholarships and offers scholarships for people who are ingenious or at least, know what they're doing 100%. Not know what they're doing, you know what I mean? People who are ingenious or people who are struggling financially.
Yeah.
Because he took a lot of fortune away from others.
Yeah. What year was this in again?
This was, it was like 1800s to early 1900s.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up railways. So
he was there in the Industrial Revolution, and he took over the oil.
Yeah, alright. Alright, is that our last topic in there?
Yes.
Alright, I'm gonna close my eyes and take it out. Let's see what this is. Oh boy. Okay. Call back to former topic.
Yeah, I do that as a wild card. I'm going to say instead of we do that, we throw back to the first one, and I'm going to say something else on top of that where you get a big feeling of deja vu, and you feel like you notice a whole lot more things when you talk about it. This is called, I'll get started right after this. This is called the yellow car phenomenon.
Yellow car.
You get started.
Alright, let's hear about this.
The yellow car phenomenon is a phenomenon where, let's say, just like a yellow car, for example. You see a lot of cars out, right? And then it's like, hey, look at that yellow car, right? Or you're talking about yellow cars, and all of a sudden you look out, or you look to your left and right, you see, oh, that's a yellow car, right? You keep walking for a couple more minutes, that's another yellow car. And you notice how it's like, before that, you didn't notice any yellow cars. There weren't any yellow cars, right?
Dude.
Now, the problem is, before that, there was yellow cars. But the reason that you didn't notice it was because you never thought about yellow cars specifically. Like bringing up there wasn't any pigeons.
Dude.
Right?
Yo. Hold up. You might be right about something. Dude, this is actually kind of interesting. I should have thought about this. My mom got this Honda car. I think it's a Honda. I have no idea what kind of cars or what. But anyways, all I know is that it had like these rims and like it looked kind of like it pointed up and then immediately went down. Mm-hmm. And when we shot that car, I was like, whoa, that's a pretty nice car.
It's a nice car.
And then all of a sudden, I've been seeing those cars. Like, I've seen like multiple copies of it. I was like, oh, hey, Mom, look, that car looks like your car. And then I started seeing more and more. And, like, I was like, this is so weird, you know. Yeah. It's until I noticed my mom's car, I've seen all the other ones. And another thing, my dad and my brother, Andrew, are, like, huge car guys, right? They love cars. Mm. And, like, whenever there's, like, some, nice old car or something, like, oh, hey, look at that car, so-and-so. Like a Fox body, for example, whatever. Well, it's not specifically supposed to be old, but any type of nice car. And then I started driving recently, and I don't know why. Whenever they bring up about those old cars, and I'm driving, I'm like, oh, hey, look at that car. That's a nice one. And it's like a relatively old one. And like, ever since then, I've been seeing more way often. It's so strange. Just like,
see a whole lot more.
That's actually a nice topic, though.
It's a very, like, it's good. It's a very crazy topic because it's like, it's all about the psychology of how we think. Yeah. But it's a horrible, horrible thing when people actually use it for themselves. It's like, take for example when people, when they conspiracy theorists.
Yeah.
Right? When they're like, that person isn't real, right? Because you noticed they were clicking their pen or something, right? And now you realize how many people actually click their pens. So that's what you think, but you don't actually think it. Like, you subconsciously think about that. And your mind starts automatically locking onto people clicking their pens and stuff like that, right? So like, oh my gosh, all these people over here are all wearing the same button up. And it's like, oh, like, what?
Yo.
It's crazy, right? But that could have been the same exact thing before. Like the feeling of deja vu. I'm seeing a cat. Like, oh, I see this cat. Then a day later, you're like, oh, I see the same exact cat. You just opened your eyes to the fact that there are a lot of cats outside, despite not looking at them prior.
Yeah, that kind of actually reminds me of something. And like, I was thinking about this like all week and last week. Every time in 6th period, I would go out, I would always see this one girl, right? She was just like always out of class, like using the bathroom. Yeah. And matter of fact, I actually saw her standing by your guys' 6th period as well, because we are classes parallel to next to each other. Yeah. I'm like, ever since then, bro, I don't know why, but if I'm like walking, like there's some people around me, I've always noticed her. It's so strange because I don't like her or anything, but like, and now that I think about it, when I first saw her, like, I have no idea who that was, and I still don't know who that is. Yeah. But, like, I can't stop thinking about how amazing this topic is. Yeah. You're like, oh my gosh, why am I all of a sudden not seeing her everywhere? Matter of fact, there's this person who I do not like to see, and I'm not going to name who, But anyways, when I was a freshman, I didn't see them around that much, but like every now and then. But like ever since my sophomore year, I've been seeing them everywhere I go. And the worst part is that I don't have the best history with them, but it's so weird because like I don't want to seem like I'm a creep following him, but we go to the same school. He's not like, the size of Texas or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's mind blown. That's an amazing topic, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I'd like to also reference back to last week when you were looking at this chair.
Yeah.
Fibonacci.
Yeah, Fibonacci sequence.
I can see the spiral in that chair. You didn't notice it the first time, right?
Oh,
you didn't notice it the first time.
Wait,
because you were never enlightened to the fact that the Fibonacci spiral was in that shape, and then you were like, oh hey, that is that shape. You go outside, you look at a snail. Oh, hey, that snail is the same exact shape.
I know, right?
Yeah, you're going around. You're like, holy shit!
I do.
There's so many correlations.
Dude, that's such a crazy. Dude, I love that. That was a good topic.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh man, like
my friend Ivan enlightened me on that. Thank you, Ivan Solorzano.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Good friend of mine.
But yeah, honestly, that was an amazing topic. That's probably like my favorite topic we went over.
I just came up with it, dude. Yeah. I just remembered it from like yesterday or so.
Yeah, whatnot.
Nope. Well, that's the end of it.
That's end of
taking the crowns off.
Taking the crowns off. Gotta retire them from the
and you get down.
That's the end of episode 2 of the Lepherdcast. We may be here next week with a guest. Maybe
we're having a guest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll hope you view it. See you later, guys. Bye.
Take care.